Hi everybody, this is Liam Martin from Running Remote, and today we're going to be talking about where will remote work be after the pandemic. We are currently leaving the pandemic right now, and it is a situation in which remote work has seen the greatest rise in the history of its existence, but we've also seen a lot of negatives pop up as well. Working from home is not remote work. There's a lot of negative feedback loops that are associated with this entire situation. But I have some data that I want to show you to be able to kind of give you an inkling of where we're going to go with remote work. This has massive implications if you are a remote company owner, and it also has massive implications if you're thinking about going remote. Stay tuned. So a current piece in Routers just stated that 74% of CFOs are expecting to, in part or completely, remain remote after the entire COVID situation is over. Now, if you actually look at that data in a deeper way, it shows that about 2% of those CFOs are thinking of moving completely over remote, but a lot of them are thinking of keeping 20 to 30% of their teams remote in a quote unquote co-located working environment. I don't know whether or not that's going to work out too well, to be completely honest with you. I kind of see these dualistic teams with remote teams and in-office teams not working long-term. Reason being is founder islands. Basically, employees that are able to go into the office feel like they have a higher level of authority than people that are not inside of the office. So I think that that's actually almost kind of a stepping stone towards a remote first organization. But again, this is very interesting data that is coming out of the post-COVID situation. There was a very interesting Portuguese article that I ended up having my friend Gonzalo translate for me, which was super helpful. And they did a study of remote workers in Portugal and I believe through the rest of Europe. And they stated that 65% of workers want to stay working remotely, at least in Europe. Also, 59% of bosses believe that remote work is going to be a long-term solution for them. And the interesting third fact, which was super relevant, is even with a work from home situation where you have children at home, you have unprepared workspaces, all that kind of stuff, 45% of employers say that productivity and revenue increased due to the COVID work from home situation instead of decreased. This is absolutely huge when you're trying to understand what the heck is going on in terms of remote work, because you're earning back the 2 to 3 hours of commute time that you usually would have used to be able to go to work and back from work. You're basically adding that into that person's workday, or they're literally just getting an extra 3 hours of sleep per day. So it's absolutely unbeatable, and to me, something that is a real game changer when you're starting to see these types of numbers where even under the worst of circumstances, not remote work, but a work from home situation, productivity has gone up in 45% of cases. There's also this other study in the Brookings Institute, which is really telling. They state that about 50% of the US workforce is currently working remotely, which is quite interesting. I think that number is actually a little bit lower. And the reason why I think it's lower is in the same article, they state that if you make over $100,000 a year, you are 4 times more likely to be able to work remotely than somebody who is in the bottom quartile of income earners in the United States. So basically what this means is the poorer you are, the lower your chance of working remotely. The higher you're paid, the higher your chance of working remotely. 78% of US households have high-speed internet versus 56% globally. And the reality is that remote work is going to be moving into all of these places at breakneck speed. So I think what's going to end up happening, and this is just my own theory on this, is high-end income earners are going to be able to work remotely, and those jobs will actually start to get quote-unquote outsourced or competed on globally very, very soon. So what do I mean by that? Well, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Shopify, they've all gone remote. These are all 6-figure job type positions, and they have hundreds of thousands of workers. Redfin, which is a real estate data mining company, has shown that San Francisco has actually had the largest amount of activity of people searching for homes that are not inside of San Francisco right after COVID started. So basically what's happening is all of these employees that are very, very wealthy have been told, hey, you can now work remotely. And what they're doing is they are not staying in San Francisco, where a one bedroom costs $4,000. And for $4,000 a month, you can get an amazing 6-bedroom mansion in the Midwest. So they're leaving en masse. And I think this is going to be a phenomenon that we're going to see in the next 3 to 9 months in a big way, once this remote work stuff really locks in and coronavirus starts to drop off. So you're going to see all that labor not only redistribute to the United States, but I also think globally. So I also think digital nomadism is going to go through the roof within the next 1 to 1.5 years, in my opinion, basically post-vaccine. Now, the other thing that's really important is once all of this labor disconnects from geography, we're going to see a massive competition for that talent. Give you a perfect example. We ended up hiring someone who got a top 5 finish at the Facebook hackathon. This person just happened to live in Bangladesh, and they decided to take a salary from us for honestly about 1/10 of what they would be paid in San Francisco. Reason being is this person didn't want to go to San Francisco and make mid-6 figures. They wanted to stay in Bangladesh and live with their family. Still an absolute top tier person, but the reason why Facebook ended up not giving him the job was because they didn't accept remote positions. Well, that has now ceased to exist. All of these companies are going to be accepting remote employees en masse, and the competition for those jobs are literally going to 10 to 20x. In my opinion, over the next 3 to 4 years, there will be very few top tier jobs that are actually employed inside of the United States, even when we talk about the digital economy. So that's a very interesting insight. That's my theory. It'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next 2 years. If you guys like these videos, I'm gonna put up a bunch of them just on a regular basis, because I read these articles all the time, and I'm thinking maybe I just sort of jump in front of the camera and tell you my thoughts on it, because stuff is literally happening every single day. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know whether or not you want me to make more of these videos. And if you really like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's completely free, and we talk about this weird stuff all day long. See you in the next video.